Hi, I recently showed the Buteo lie down hide, and I got a number of people commenting about the fact that they can't lie down on their bellies because it's too uncomfortable. It's a very popular thing to do with wildlife photographers, to get down low to ground level, but it can be a very painful experience. I'm getting dangerously close to 70 and I can still do it, but I can see a time coming when I won't be able to. So I thought I'd try showing you how to do it without having to lie down, using the CanRanger, which is something else that I showed quite recently. I showed it in use photographing great spotted woodpeckers up in the air, which is where I normally use the CanRanger for doing things high up, not low down. But a few weeks ago I had a go at doing little winged plovers on the floor using the CanRanger, but I didn't feel myself doing it. So I've come to a city park today where I'm just going to set the CanRanger up and point it at a few moorhens and coots, hopefully, just to show you an alternative way of getting down low to the floor. This is the CanRanger with the Hague electronic head, which I can control with the mobile phone. Because it doesn't work with Olympus cameras, it works with Canon, Nikon, Sony and Fuji cameras, I've got to use a separate mobile phone to operate the camera. So one mobile phone for this and another mobile phone for the camera. Well, that's all it is. It's a Wi-Fi unit, so it's completely wireless, and we're just going to set this up by the water's edge. I have to have a Canon camera attached to the device, but the camera isn't doing anything. There's no lens on it, it's just the body, and just power it on it. It just allows it to work. But we'll set this up and see how we go. I'm going to put the 40 to 150 zoom on. The only thing you do have to make sure is you've got a level horizon before you start. Notice I've got the tripod head attached to just a flat plate. It's actually, well, a dish really. You could call this a ground pod. You used to be able to buy these, but you no longer can, although there is an American version of them. And then we have two mobile phones on the go. This one I can see the picture. It's the normal Olympus app. That's controlling the camera. I can change all of the settings in the camera. And then we have the other mobile phone controlling the CanRanger. If you had a Canon, Nikon, Sony or Fuji, you'd be able to control both with one device. But now I can move the camera left to right and up and down. So I'll just go and sit over there, throw a bit of food in the water for the birds, and we'll just give it a try. Because I'm in a city park, I could have sat on this wooden bench over there, but one thing that's important is to sit directly behind the camera. It makes it much easier to be able to follow your subject as you're panning side to side. I'm not very optimistic I'm going to get good pictures here because these coots and moorhens are quite fast moving, but it just illustrates the CanRanger in use at ground level. But the pictures I'm going to show you at the end of little winged plovers is really the only decent thing I've done with the CanRanger at ground level. It's the only thing I've attempted to do. Today is also quite dull and miserable and blustery, so it's not the best weather for photographing a bird with black plumage, but it just gives an opportunity to show the CanRanger in use. It's not as easy to follow the bird around as it would be if I was operating the tripod head directly, but it is possible. But overall it works better with a bird that's not quite so mobile. It worked much better with the little winged plover that I'm going to show you at the end. So also the one thing you can't do is zoom, although normally I'd be shooting with a 300mm lens, which is a fixed lens, so I can't zoom anyway. Now once the coot becomes static and starts preening itself, then it's easy and it really works well. Now we've got some intruders, much larger birds. You can see the tripod is operated from the right hand phone, just using that sort of joystick and panning the camera up. Now to the right, and you'll see the picture is moving to the right with the swans. And now press to the left hand side and it starts to go to the left. Now this is a CanRanger Mark1. I forget the distance they claim that it works at, but let's say they claim 50 meters. But that's only in optimum conditions, and you will never find yourself in optimum conditions. So this works at about 30 meters. You go further than that, it still might work, but it becomes less stable. So you'll keep losing the connection and having to reconnect again. The CanRanger Mark2, they claim, works at 500 feet, which is 150 meters. So the chances are it's very reliable at, say, 100 meters. And it's very rare that I'm 100 meters away from my subject when I'm doing this sort of thing, because at 100 meters you can't really see what's going on. You're looking through the binoculars to see what's to the right and left of the camera, so you know which way to pan to pick up on the subject. So I would invest in the Mark2 if it worked with my Olympus cameras, but at the moment having to use the two phones makes it a bit of a nuisance, and I don't use it often enough to justify it. It isn't cheap. This works out just for the Wi-Fi unit itself, for the Mark2, about £430. Then you've got to buy the tripod head and this hub, which is another, I think, £250. I'll put a link to the descriptions in them, but it's not particularly cheap, but it does save you back.
So now for some better quality pictures of little winged plovers taken with the same setup. It's a much easier bird to work on because although they're fast moving and they run along the shoreline, when they do stand still they do pause long enough to be able to turn that tripod and get it onto them and take decent footage or decent stills pictures. This was taken with the 300mm lens and they did come very, very close. I was about 30 meters behind the camera, sitting down in a comfortable hide, and I only took video during the session, so this frame here is just one frame from the video clip, just a snapshot.
Now with one small step in technology, and that technology already exists, we can make a huge leap forward in wildlife photography. At the moment we're using a local Wi-Fi circuit to connect the mobile phone to the tripod head and the camera. But our mobile phones have 4G and even 5G capabilities. We can control all sorts of things with our mobile phones. We can change the temperature on our central heating back home through the mobile. We can check who's standing at the front door of our houses and check the security system. And there's no reason why I can't control the tripod head and camera from my mobile phone from anywhere in the world. I don't need to be here to operate it.
I could be in the pub enjoying a cold beer and taking pictures at the same time.
Or I could be relaxing at home in front of the television, watching the football while waiting for a golden oriole to come and land on a perch in front of my camera.
Or I could be chilling out in the bath. Now think of the advantages. Last year I heard that someone estimated there were 1,000 hides available for rent for wildlife photography around the world. 1,000, that's a lot. It's become big business. Now the people that own and operate these hides don't need to rent the hides out anymore. They simply fit them out with these remote controlled tripod heads and cameras, connect them to the internet, and we can log in from anywhere in the world and take our pictures. No need to go flying out to Costa Rica anymore or jetting off to the Masai Mara. It can all be done from home. Stay home, stay safe, save the planet. That could become a catchy phrase. And then there's the personal advantages too. No more tedious queuing at airports to get through passport control, no mosquito bites, no deli belly, and no buying travel insurance that finds clauses never to pay out. It sounds wonderful, makes you just wonder what could possibly go wrong.